Why are we called Negroes? Why are we deaf, dumb, and blind? Why is everybody making progress, yet we seem to be lagging so far behind? Why are we mistreated? Why are we in this condition? Stripped of our name, our language, our culture, our God, and our religion. Here in America, all of our religious training has been gotten by the preacher. He has told us of a heaven way up in the sky that we can't enjoy now, but rather after we die. But all of the years
All right. We are live.
What happened to Sister Felicia? Oh,
I don't know, but
She'll be back. She'll be back. But
Inshallah.
we are live and we are happy to be here for another week. Seven Region Coalition. And we want to first start off by introducing our dynamic co-hosts. I'm talking about super dynamic. Let's start off with the man right above me. Man, my brother is so valuable to this program. He does so much behind the scenes as well as in front of the scenes. He's a beautiful brother out of Miami, Florida.
I am.
And he is the one and only brother Tony Muhammad. How you doing today, sir?
All praise is due to Allah. I'm trying to reflect the God that I see in you, beloved.
yes.
Allah. And next, to my left, to your right, to my left, to my left, to your right, whatever direction. My dear sister, man, so many gifts and talents. Some she's revealed, some she has not, and yet more to come. She is so very valuable to our show. She was handpicked to be on this show and to help out and assist. She's our another one of our co-hosts, the beautiful Sister Felicia Muhammad. How are you today, Sister Felicia?
Oh, praise is due to Allah. I am navigating and grateful and thankful to Allah. Yes, for life.
To Allah.
Yes, sir.
Last but not least, I mean, it's kind of like that Vanessa Williams song, "Save the Best for Last," right? She is not just a co-host, but she is also a content creator. She does so much. She's like the mama of the show, you know. Kind of like her own mama, our mama, Sister Mother Barbara. But she'll start off by saying, "I love you, I love y'all." You know, I love y'all. Then you about to get a spanking. But anyway, our dear sister, she hails from Jacksonville, Florida. She is a mother, a wife, a wonderful dear sister of ours, Sister Khalila Muhammad. How are you, Sister Khalila?
Listen, thanking Allah for life and being in the present because life is a present.
All right. All right, well, say, hey, I'm Brother Mark. I'm just your brother. Let's move on.
No, you're not just our brother.
Yeah, really? Like, come on now.
Come on,
No, you didn't just do that. No,
I
you
know we
did
deflect
not.
praise, brother, but you're not just our brother.
I'm your
Mm.
We're very blessed to have you here on this mighty broadcast, Brother Mark.
That's right. That's
You are
right.
also an invaluable member of the 7th Region Coalition to help
all
save lives.
praises due to Allah. Thank you, my brother. And since you're on it, brother, why don't you carry us to the next phase, brother Tony? Talk to us, man.
Absolutely. Let me begin properly, family. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, the one God to whom holy praises are forever due, the Lord of the worlds, who came in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, the Supreme Being, to whom holy praises are forever due. I am forever thankful to Almighty God Allah for showing his divine favor of Black people here in North America and the Aboriginal peoples of the earth, and raising one from among us, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, the exalted Christ, and now Mahdi, the eternal leader of the nation of Islam.
That's
And I
right.
thank them both for not leaving us alone and preparing one that would continue the mighty and great work of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, the hardest work that any man could devote themselves to.
Yes,
And I
sir.
speak none other to that man who is resurrecting our people and speaking to the multitudes of our people still at the ripe age of 91 years old.
Yeah.
I thank Allah
Yeah.
for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and their divine names. I greet you in peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Well,
Peace be unto
Alaikum
you.
salam.
Abaragani, buenos dias, buenas noches, sakpase, greetings in any language that you speak. We are greeting you in that language right now. Welcome to Thursday Night Talks, headed up by the 7th Region Coalition to Help Save Lives. The 7th Region Coalition to Help Save Lives was assembled by our Student Regional Minister, Student Minister Patrick Muhammad, in the midst of the pandemic. And soon after the criterion message of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, which took place on July 4th, 2020, a team was assembled that would serve like a light. It would be likened unto a lighthouse that would guide ships to safety. Because here we were dealing with our open enemy that was suggesting and putting forth a experimental inoculation. We did not know what kind of side effects it would have, but we are now seeing more and more what kind of side effects it has on our people. We were assembled to do the work of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, to warn our people about the dangers of the COVID-19 vaccines, because there were more than one, still more than one. And we're still doing the work today.
Yes,
through
sir.
9 ministries of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan that he introduced in the midst of the 2005 Millions More movement. There are 9 ministries that are geared towards saving lives, geared towards uniting our people in the name of truth and righteousness. And so tonight's program, we will be focusing on the Ministry of Health and Human Services. This ministry provides for the physical, mental, and emotional well-being of the members of the society. The goal of the Ministry of Health is the fulfillment of the intention of the Creator for every human being to achieve his or her potential for both longevity and good health throughout life.
Yes, sir.
Its efforts extend to the family and the community as well as the individual. So with that, beloved family, we bring to you tonight's broadcast. We thank you so much for tuning in. Please share the broadcast with whoever you can. It does not cost anything to share this broadcast, whether it be on Facebook or YouTube. We're also on Twitch, right? We're on Twitch. Go ahead and just share.
Share.
Like, do everything comment, do everything you can to build up the algorithm on these social media platforms. We thank you so much for tuning in, and let's continue to be about this program to help save lives.
Awesome.
All right. Sister Kalila, you got anything you want to say before we get started? Did we put our share up, right? Yeah.
You know, the thing is, before I thank you for asking, Sister Felicia. This show, before we even get started, I know for a fact the show is near and dear to me. Simply because we are facing something that it's really in our review, and we have yet to look back to determine what's going on until after it happens.
Mm-hmm.
This show is about perseverance. This show is about swimming against the tide of social media, you know, just being ideal to try to be the image of what society wants us to be.
Right.
And we are going against what society wants us to be.
Mm-hmm.
We're at war.
That's pretty much all of our stories. But this one here, this one here, it touched my soul. Simply because I know for a fact, in regards to having relationships with young sisters and understanding what peer pressure looks like and what it feels like, and you know, and to be honest with you, our young children go through more peer pressure than we can ever imagine what we had to experience when we were their age.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So my prayers to you all, if you have children between the ages of 12 to 24, if you all can get them and stop them from whatever they're doing, if they're on TV right now, if they're on their game, if they're on their tablet, if they're doing something that is not really important, my suggestion for you is to tune in tonight.
Yes.
That's right.
And thank you so much, Sister Felicia, for letting me have the floor.
Thank you for those words. And so tonight's theme is shifting into perspective, a story of perseverance, with our very special and honored guest, Sister Asia Muhammad. And a little bit about Sister Asia. She is a marathon runner, entrepreneur, multi-published photographer, and model. Okay.
Wow.
Multi-talented.
Yes.
You will see. She's beautiful. She's so beautiful.
She started her marathon running journey when she was 19 years young. Okay. She was inspired to run after years of battling, guess what? Depression.
Mm-hmm.
And suicidal ideations and attempts. Yeah. So this is slated to be a very empowering and enlightening and revealing conversation. And so again, 12 to 24, come on in the room, and then 24 to 60, get your backsides in here too. All right. So because we can know how to support our young people and be able to support ourselves, because when we show up as a babe to be able to learn, again, many of us, in the line of work that I do, many of us, are running programs that we're still operating from childhood.
That's right.
So everybody, 80-year-olds, y'all come on to yes. Let's do this. And so at this time, let's bring up Sister Asia.
Bring her on.
Woo-hoo! Round of applause for Sister Asia. Praise be to Allah.
There she is.
I I told y'all she was beautiful. Walaikum
Salam.
salam. Listen, Sister Asia, I am so thankful to Allah for you, for being bold, for being resilient, for being transparent, for being what God wants you to be, and for living in your purpose and seeing what the outcome is in regards to what God's will for you is. And I mean, I love you, girl. So I'm thankful that you're on the show. And I'm just gonna start it right off. Being so highly motivated to do so many things and having a few people to match your energy can be difficult. Do you think that playing a role do you think that playing a role in mental health challenges your high achievement as it relates to people and kind of like being social? I mean, because you're doing everything. You got it going on, Sister Asia. You know, you at the top of the mountain. There ain't many people there. So
she's gone above the mountain.
Right.
All praises due to Allah. Well, first, I want to start off with a quote from the Holy Quran, where it says, give good news to those that are patient and steadfast under trial. So a lot of people, when they see successful people or successful people that they look up to, they don't necessarily see their trials that they had to endure to get there and what motivates them to continue. And so I do encourage everyone to watch this lecture by the minister. Blessed are those who find their purpose and are found doing it.
Yeah.
And
Asia, I promise you, listen, we on the same. I'm sorry for cutting you off.
No, it's okay. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
But you're going to see why. You're going to see why. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So the reason why I say that was because I remember when I was going through a dark time and I was in my car. It had to have been around 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. I know, don't worry about that. So it was 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning.
She said, don't even worry about that.
Right. I would go for long drives. My mother just like, okay, just be safe. But if I ain't been late in the morning, I don't understand, but go for it. So I found the lecture just popped up on my feed. And so I hit play. And I was just reflecting on my own life, and like, what is my true purpose? Like, what am I here for? And so basically, it's going to come a time where you're going to be your own biggest cheerleader, because I feel like we rely so much on other people to fix our problems, and it's like you're going to have to find that inner strength to really rise above what you're going through to continue. And it's going to be absolutely difficult and it won't be easy at all. And so it took time for me to really go in depth for like self-examination, self-analysis, because those are key if you have that, hand in hand. If you really like to study yourself. Right. And, the minister, he talks about, the journey of self-mastery and embarking on that journey and having that journey. Yes. That's in our study guide number 7. So, that's one thing that I had the courage to finally do, to stop resisting Allah, because he was calling my phone. He'd been calling my phone. So I was like, okay, I'm doing things that is not fulfilling to me, and he was calling me on my destiny, like, I want you to be doing this. It's time to come to me now and look at yourself. Right. And so I do want to talk about plateau and what that moment of plateau looks like. So when we experience a moment of plateau, we tend to stop. We don't look at it as a moment for reflection and for reprise and for rest. So when businesses or people, they experience a plateau moment in their life, they look at it as, oh, I got to stop. It's time to quit. instead of like looking at it and going within inside of you.
Right.
And so that's what I started to do. I started going into my chamber, and really during the pandemic, all of us had to do that. We had to go inside and sit with Allah. That's what the minister told us to do. He said, go into your chambers, you know? And sometimes we do a whole lot of talking when sometimes we just need to be in that quietude and just be quiet, just be still. And Allah will talk to you if you allow him to do those things. So when people look at motive, like successful people, is because they found that strength within them to keep going. They started studying themselves and, okay, let me see the process here. Let me start listening to things. How can I get there on the chessboard? And I told myself, envision where you want to be on the chessboard. I don't know if we have any chess players here, but I told myself, okay, let's work our way backwards. How are we going to get there? Where do you want to be? Because since we are gods, you can do absolutely anything. But
come on, that part. Come on.
It's like, if that was instilled in me as a little girl, and why every single morning you are a little God. My parents tell me you are God. You know, it's like we are limitless. We are unstoppable. And don't let your trials define you. Don't let your mistakes, your errors at what you're doing define you. You got to keep. You look at it as for inspiration. You know, like we look at it as like, oh, why am I going through all these things? But there's triumph in the will, like the minister said. So whatever you desire to do, you absolutely can do it, because desire feeds the will. And you have to have faith. And a lot of us, we don't have that faith, you know, and we keep running away from ourselves. And that's what I constantly was doing, because I didn't get it for a very, very long time. I didn't get it right away. So I want to end it on that note. But
praises be to Allah. Thank you.
Inshallah, God willing, we're going to continue the discussion, Sister Asia. My question for you, because you do a little bit of everything. And you have, from what I've seen you training with Brother Elijah Farrakhan, brother, multiple videos on social media. And you have significant martial arts training. Why is it important for our sisters, for women in general, especially our young sisters, to undergo such type of training?
Well, when I was about 12 years old, that's when I first started doing martial arts with my father. And my father, he's one of those FOI, he don't play that, okay? And so growing up with predominantly, you know, I have 3 brothers and I love them dearly. It was difficult. Like, they were very protective over me, but it was like, you need to learn how to protect yourself. And so the time that we're in right now, it's like, you need those skills, those combat skills, but what's most important is that mind-body connection, that unison that you need with your mind. And so when that time comes, when it's time to fight, are you going to go into fight or flight mode? Are you going to run away from you being attacked, you know? And so, like, even in the Bay Area, we have high crimes of carjacking. And then you have women going missing. We have prostitution. We have all of these elements. And it's like, okay, well, what are we doing? But to protect ourselves. But I want to say that martial arts is a confidence booster as well. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, when we see ourselves, we don't know that, oh, I could throw a cross, I could throw an elbow, an uppercut. You know, you see your body transformation, and you come out of your comfort zone when you're doing these different things, that these movements that you're not used to. And it's like, oh wow, I can do this. You know, like, it's empowering when we're doing these things, you know, that you usually may see a male doing it, you know, that's really thrown in our face. We don't really see a lot of women that look like us that are doing certain things. It's like, okay, well, I can do it. And what was told to me is that the better Muslim that you are, the better martial artist that you'll become. So
come on.
It's like, you know, and it's like, a lot of people, they just see martial arts as like, oh yeah, I can fight. Or you see these fighters, they're a little bit arrogant, you know, and it's like, you have to have wisdom when you have these things, because it's like martial arts can also teach you something as well, you know? And so it's another point I wanted to say regarding that.
As we say in the mosque, take your time. Take your time.
Yes, like I lost my thought. I was like, oh, hold on.
Just say, I choose to remember. It'll come back.
I refuse to remember. So, yes, sir. But yeah, I do want to say like, like being mentally and emotionally stuck as well, because I will help you as well, because I grew up very shy, introverted, but I discovered as I got older that I'm actually a little bit of both. I'm an ambivert, introverted and extroverted as well. But it's just so important for us to really protect ourselves. And, that's why we have a class, the FIDS class, where we were able to teach ourselves these tactics, different things. So thankful to my dad first, because he put us all in that when we were younger, because he wanted us to properly defend ourselves, because he saw the importance in that. Especially in the time that we're in, I really do emphasize that we get some form of training, if it's boxing or someone that that can help you with that. I encourage that.
I bear witness.
Beautiful. I bear witness too, my sister. Maybe 12 hours.
And then, Sister Kalila, did you want to say something from the last statement about the lecture?
Yeah, listen, I'm telling you, I'm gonna hold it because it's gonna blow your mind. That's all I'm gonna say. It's gonna blow your mind. Okay.
So, Sister Asia, interesting that you are interested in flying airplanes. So where did that come from? And then the second part of the question is, we want to know all about it. All right. The time that it took, how much it cost. Do you fly solo? Do you have your own plane? Any advice for those of us who have also wanted to learn how to fly a plane?
Yes, ma'am. So I do want to begin with a quote from Mother Tarnetta. She was saying that women should be a part of every moving mechanism that makes up a society, a civilization. We should be diplomats and pilots. And this is from the Purification of the Heart, is a preparation of service lecture. I can go back and look at that as well. So most people don't know that I was originally a STEM major in college. So I was studying to be an astronaut. That's something that I desired. And then I just found the gift with, that I enjoyed doing film and photography. And I just made that my, it was a hobby at first as a teenager, but I made that my skill career. So anyway, I started having dreams, like 4 or 5 dreams consistently, that I was flying planes with all these pilots. And I was like, okay, like, are you trying to tell me to fly planes now? So, because the way Allah will communicate me or give me ideas or gives us through dreams and visions of that sort. And then I had a conversation with my marathon runner friends, and he randomly said this, not knowing I was having these dreams and thoughts. Yeah, I'm in flight school right now. I was like, okay, it's fine. Okay, another one. Another sister told me, yeah, I was in flight school. I was like, okay, I understand, hence the why is sufficient. Let me look into this. And so I started researching a lot. And one thing that I noticed is like cost-wise, how can I get there? So I didn't tell my family, my siblings, like I was very low-key about it, because I wanted to see what was the reason why Allah wanted me to fly planes. I didn't quite understand. So I looked up the research, and one thing I noticed that was convenient for me was to start it online. So do the ground portion online, which is $300, depending on which flight school that you choose to do it through. And that's just a one-time fee, because when you go in person and start fresh, that's like thousands of dollars that you'll waste with your flight instructor, or CFI as we say it. And so it honestly just depends on you. And I will say this, do not become a pilot if you're not studious, because it takes a lot of dedication. You have to be focused. You have to have great time management. And it's really a lot of physics as well, and mathematics that you're going to be doing. So if you don't have that skill down, if you get easily distracted, do not even think about touching.
Don't waste your time.
Don't even think about it.
Right.
So I don't have my own plane, but I plan on eventually in the future. Me and my cousins, we talked about doing like formations in the skies and aerobatics and things of that nature. So in the future, that is something that I wish to do. The type of plane that we fly is the Cessna 172, or affectionately known as C-172. Or some people, they may fly C-150s or 152s, but it's the 172 is loved throughout the world for pilots because it's the safest single engine plane, and it's just adaptable. It's like endurable and it's reliable as well. It is great for pilot training as well. So typically, when you're in flight school, those are the planes that they will have for you. Some people will have 150s, but I will say with that, it was just it was a great experience when I first started like flying, because it was something I've never experienced in my entire life. And you can see the whole view, the landscape of the world or the city that you're flying over. Because when you're on a Boeing or 700, 800, the Dreamliner, I'm going to all these planes, but the big plane that you'll fly, you're going to stay there on vacation, but there's different numbers and names for aircraft. You only see one side of it on the window if you're on one part of the plane. But when you're in front, I'm like, this is actually really beautiful out here. Like the Belle de la Crete is actually very beautiful. So that's something that I hold dear to me every time I go up there. And it does cost a lot. So I'm not, it absolutely does cost a lot. But I encourage you all to just save money, but start online first. And there's other licenses that I'm looking to get into. It's going to take some time. So especially if I'm striving towards my commercial license, you have to have a certain amount of hours to put in work for that. And it takes time. So I even know somebody, he has hundreds of hours of flying time, but doesn't have his license. He's an excellent pilot, but it's because he's not studious. He's not in taking the information. That's what's hindering him from doing these things. Right. So you have to put in the work, and it just depends on you. Some people can get it in 6 months for their first license. Some people, it takes you 2 years, depending on you and the time you put in. So.
Right. Gotcha.
Just Asia, just to follow up on that. So just like with anything, you have to create a schedule for it.
Absolutely.
It just can't be something that, oh yeah, I'm going to get to that. Oh yeah, next week. And then the week after, and then you just keep pushing it to the side.
No. Right. And that's one thing I think my dad thought as well. I was like, oh, Dad, no, it's physics. You have to study physics, Dad. Aerodynamics. It doesn't quite work that way. So that's one thing that I would emphasize is making sure that you are studious and praying that if this is a good fit for you, because the small plane is totally different from a bigger plane because you can feel things a little bit more, versus a bigger aircraft. It's a little bit smoother besides the turbulence, but you can feel things.
Right.
Wow. Well, very impressed. Dear Sister Asia, as you can probably tell, we've done our research on you as we do all our guests. But I think I noticed very interesting. On your Facebook page, there are videos and pictures, not only of you flying a private plane, but of you skydiving. So the question comes, could this be a part of your healing process? And what things do you experience when you skydive, fly a plane? I know you talk about flying, particularly skydiving. What type of feelings that you experience when engaging with such activities? And could it be a part of healing?
Absolutely, because I'm going to tell you why. So as a child, and this is another form of me healing my inner child, because we all need some healing. Yes. As a child, I've always been curious, adventurous. I've always wanted to know things, and so even my mother, she sent me something earlier today about how she sees me as the child and the young adult woman that she was not able to become, and I'm assisting her. And it was so beautiful and it touched my heart when she sent me that. And I was like, wow, you know? And so I enjoy exploring things, and I purposely put myself in strenuous exercises or challenges and activities because I want to know more about who I am. You know, there's always so much, there's layers to each of us, and we don't know unless we put ourselves through certain things that may not make sense in that moment, but you're going to understand later on, you know? And so I constantly want to know about my strengths and my weaknesses. And there was a sign at the Oakland Marathon, and this bystander had a poster that said, "It's not a hill, it's an opportunity." And so that's something that stuck with me because every opportunity that we climb up is an opportunity to learn more. Yes, you may feel aches and pains along the road when you're climbing up the uphill road, and you're going to feel something, you know, a little soreness, your knees might buckle up, dehydration might kick in. But for me, since I've gone through a lot of painful trials in my life, I don't want to say I purposely put myself through pain, but yes, I do, you know, and because I want to learn more about my strengths to help me keep going, you know, and it's like I've always put myself through things that will not only help me, but to challenge my fear, because to some degree, we all may be fearful of something, even though we say, you know, fear no one but Allah. But it's like, okay, well, if Allah tries you with something, you know, tries you with fear, you know, so it's like you're going to have to overcome those things.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And so I feel like we have to do something that heals our inner child, whatever that is. You know, because our inner child constantly wants attention.
Right.
And, you know, I don't like when I'm in conversations with people that might be in their 40s or 50s and they tell me, oh, yeah, you know, I used to roller skate back in the day. Why did you stop?
Come on now.
Like,
Come on, Sister Asia.
Right. Life does not stop.
Come on, Sister Asia.
I saw this video of an 80-year-old woman, and she was skydiving off a plane. So I don't want to hear nothing. I'm like,
right.
You have to live, you know, live life. Besides looking at the same four walls around
Come
you,
on.
get outside.
Oh my
You
God.
know, there's healing if you try to do things that Allah put in front of you. Like if you say that the earth belongs to the righteous, right? Okay.
Right.
Why are you sitting in your house if this is yours? He came for us to give us back what's for you. So why are you sitting right there? Go see your local farmers market. Some of us don't even leave our block. You understand? We don't even know our neighbors because we just go outside.
Right.
Go buy a plant.
Come on, Sister Asia.
You know, try these spices. Try different cuisines from different cultures, and you might enhance your taste buds and your senses. Because we're so caught right. And Wendy's and all this extra stuff.
Right.
You're not gonna understand what life is if you don't try different types of fruits and vegetables, or you don't try a new hobby and do Zumba class or something like that. Just experience what makes you happy. Don't stop because you get married or you become a wife,
that part,
mother, or you excel in your career. Don't lose your individuality.
That's right. That's right.
So keep on roller skating, hula hooping. I was hula hooping the other day, and it made me feel so happy because I haven't hula hooped in about 11, 12 years. I was like, I still got it.
Got it. That's right. That's right. That's what I'm talking about. Yep.
You burn calories when you're hula hooping. So
Yes.
That's right. That's right.
Yes. So true.
Look, I'm experiencing that pain right now. This is my second day getting back on my bike since I broke my finger on the 1st of January. So it wasn't a fear. It was just like, oh my God, my finger is broke. You know what I'm saying? So, but it was my second, and it was one of those things. It was very liberating. It's something that I love. It's something that I love doing. And because I I had to go through the painful experience to understand how valuable just getting on my bike means, you know. And like I said, your testimony alone is that it's that pain that you have to endure in order for you to enjoy life, if that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
If I can bear witness too, it's just sometimes because I get so busy in the hustle and bustle of life, I forget that I like to draw. I forget that I like to do poetry. I forget about some of the things I really love to do, you know, and love to teach. Certain things I haven't taught in a long time.
Right.
And then when I see the effect on young people, it's just like, oh my God, this is what I haven't felt this in such a long time.
Right.
Exactly.
Oh my Allah. But Sister Asia, what comes to mind in some of the things that you just mentioned in the scriptures, Jesus talks about how in order to enter into the kingdom of heaven, you have to be like a little child.
Come on.
And on one perspective that we could have is the disposition of mind of the child being like a sponge and just taking in whatever the teacher is teaching, gravitating towards this, gravitating towards that, mastering everything that comes to mind. Another aspect of it is what keeps us young, what keeps us like children is not stopping to do things that are new to us.
That's right. Yeah.
You know, staying stuck in the house and just doing the same routine day in and day out, going to the same job day in and day out, doing the same thing, falling into routine. No, that too much of that, we start experiencing, I hate putting it like this. Oh,
senility.
Oh, my Lord. So
crazy.
With that, Sister Asia, running marathons, which we have the picture on the flyer of you celebrating after running a marathon. You've ran several marathons.
Yes, sir, I have.
You use running marathons to transform out of depression.
Mm-hmm.
If you could, I know that you already mentioned something to that effect, but if you could go more into detail how getting into running marathons helped you come out of that condition of mind, beloved.
Absolutely. So, trigger warning. So in 2019, after Savior's Day, I had actually had a suicide attempt, and it was extremely, I was almost close to death, I will say that. And so with the EMT, what she was telling me after they were trying to keep me alive and everything like that, she said, I don't know what your purpose is, but take this moment, and do something with your film or something, tell your story. And so after I had recovered, I started running again because that's something I've always loved to do was running. And at NUI, I was one of the fastest people at school. So,
go ahead,
talk your talk.
Asia. Praise me to a lot.
And this is factual. You can, fact check that. So
since your own Instagram and check that.
Check MUI records.
So what happened was I started, even though I love sprinting, but long distance running was something that I just didn't really feel compelled to do. So I was like, you know what, this has to stop. Let me start running. Let me switch it up a little bit. But I was in student government at that time in college, so I was senator. And I had an old friend, and she also served on the council with me. She was like, we should run a marathon. I was like, I don't want to do that, And she asked me a year before that, and I was still saying no. Then she finally asked me again in May, and I was like, you know what? Okay, because I realized on my training process, I was running like 6 miles a day. So I realized, I was like, okay, I'm building up some stamina, some endurance. My mind is opening up. I'm more clear now, you know. And so we ran together the San Francisco Marathon in July. And so people think that I got it the first time, you know, after I completed it. And when you receive your medal, it's a great achievement. But I was still going through some trials. I was still resisting. That's that word again. I was still resisting myself. And I was young at that time. Still am, I guess. But younger. When I was younger,
yeah.
yes. And I still had like some arrogance, you know. And when you're in college, you know, you're going to be tried with different things that you weren't raised on doing. And so, and I remember the minister was talking about, you know, about environments. Like, it doesn't matter like how much of a good person you are. If you're in that environment, you can succumb to that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so how they were dealing with their vices or their trials weren't ideal. And so it was like I was going into that as well. Like, I started dealing with it in that way. But even I was taught my whole life, you know, to make Allah sufficient. I was not doing that. So, and I didn't quite understand when you're young, you know, a lot of young people, they don't understand what that means to make Allah sufficient, you know.
Right.
And so it took me years to finally understand and come to terms with what that truly means for me.
Right.
And so a lot of marathon runners, you know, you start feeling yourself and getting in a groove. And, you know, it's the saying that running is 90% mental and 10% physical. And so one thing that I've honestly come to realize recently in my last race was that I was still focusing on the 10% and not that 90%. And so it takes a lot of strength to really understand, you know, what is happening inside of you, you know. And so, and not only does running have benefits, so it did help me a lot, you know, releasing those endorphins in my mind, building up endurance and the perseverance as well. I didn't realize it was teaching me and challenging me to persevere mentally, you know, emotionally and spiritually, because when you're how do I say? When you're on a journey, even when you're in Islam, we're going to have trials, like spiritual trials. You know, you're going to try, you know? And so it was just like a moment for me to stop resisting. And that's what Allah was trying to get me to see, because I didn't truly understand why he kept calling my phone and I wasn't really answering, you know? And so, yeah, that's just something I just reflect on. But marathon running is something that has helped me and it has taught me a lot of things to keep going. And so I may put myself through challenging races that may have more inclination, because I used to hate steep hills, even though my dad, this is why I thank a lot for my dad, because when we were younger, he would take us hiking. I didn't know I was being trained as a child, and I'm going to be doing something similar in the future. So he was like, oh, you are, you're going to go over, you're going to hike. So my dad would constantly challenge us to do certain things out of our comfort zone. And so that was one thing I had to fall in love with, was steep hills. And I had to build up that strength to keep doing it, to train, to make sure that I was adapting to these hills that I was overcoming, or I guess you would say that was meeting, but also overcoming the mental hills in my mind in those mountains, you know. So
All right.
Everything coming back full circle, dear sister.
Praises,
yes, sir.
You know, Sister Asia, this is a pretty long-winded question, but I think that Brother Tony, don't laugh at me.
No, I'm the king of long-windedness.
Right.
Yeah, don't start, please.
Right.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you.
But this question is very important. for you and definitely for the listening audience. In the United States, society is the third leading cause of death of young children between the ages of 15 to 24. 5,000 young people completed suicide in the US each year. Each year, there is approximately 10 youth suicides for every 100,000 youth. Each day, there is approximately 12 youth suicides. And even when you mentioned about COVID, that period of time, young females was ranked high than ever before as it relates to committing suicide. But all praises are due to Allah that you are not a part of that statistic. What was your turning point when you decide to say, I'm going to give life one more try? And that's the first question. The second question is, because I know you mentioned about your father, your mother, your brothers. What was your support system, if you can, expound on that? And why do you feel that it's so important to have one?
To answer your first question, I decided to make Allah my friend. That's what it was. I decided to make him my best friend, and that was imperative to me. But my turning point was I decided to give Allah a chance because I wasn't, and I was giving these other things a chance, self-harm or suicide or other things that were so soothing to me. And one thing I would say is when you are polluting your mind with toxic waste, then your body is going to become inhabitable. So, when Jesus says the kingdom of heaven is within you, so the word kingdom is dome, right? And so heaven is within you. And all you're doing is polluting yourself with toxic waste and telling yourself certain things and creating a belief system saying, I'm not worthy, no one loves me, telling yourself all this negative self-talk, and you're bombarded with this. Your atmosphere is going to be toxic. You cannot live there anymore. And so, when it says 100% dissatisfaction brings about universal change. So once you become 100% dissatisfied with yourself and realize that, okay, these things aren't working for me, I need to try something else. So I guess when Allah was really showing himself to me in my trials, that he was really there for me, like, I'm right here with you. It was like, I don't want to say supernatural because I'm not spooky like that. I'm very spiritual, and I know when Allah is speaking to me and his signs. And when
you can say it. You can say it.
And when he brings people in my life that I know that is from Allah. Like, there's so many things when I was going through some trials, really from 2022 to early last year. And it was like, okay, Allah, I can hear you now. Like, you're real, and it's not like, oh, I didn't believe in him, but it was like, I think I can give Allah a chance, because the ways that he has looked out for me and supported me, brought people into my life to assist when I was at that very moment, when I was calling on him at that very moment. What are you doing? Hold on, why are you repeating my prayer, what I just said? What are you doing?
Right, come on.
Someone said
on how he reveals himself.
There's angels in place for you. Don't forget about that. Hung up the phone. I said, why are you doing that? Like, I was I was kind of scared for a minute. I was like, okay, Allah, you're talking to me right now. And so I want to talk about self-sabotage as well,
Yes.
And because we don't see ourselves the way that Allah sees us, and that's our problem. So,
come on.
A swine pearls, what is a swine going to do with that? He's going to be playing with it. And so when you don't see yourself the way that Allah sees you, and you're surrounding yourself with swine-like people, you're going to become like that, or you're going to pick up on influences or behaviors that are swine-like. That's not for you. So when you're at gym and you don't see that, you're at the workplace, you're surrounding yourself with these people, your sphere of influence is not up to par, a lot standards. It's like, okay, you don't belong there. And of course, these people, they gonna keep playing with you and disrespecting you because they don't know what to do with you. And so they often misuse and mistreat what they quite don't understand. They don't see your value.
My God.
It's like you have to recognize who you are first.
Come on.
Once you recognize who you are, you won't allow certain things, you won't tolerate certain things in your life. Once you really start seeing yourself in the lens of Allah.
Come on. Yeah.
And so another thing is when we start adopting these beliefs into our mind, and our mind is, I think I already said this, but like constantly bombarded with negativity, you know, and then we have to get rid of like these outdated narratives in our mind, you know? And so it's like, we kind of find self-soothing tactics with like binge eating and like these reality TV shows, and then you are what you
right.
You see all this fighting, all this arguing that you're watching and that you're consuming, your mind is going to become like that.
Right.
And so it's like all of this like really impacts like your nervous system as well. So when you're full with like anxieties and you're just like, you know, oh my God, and like the overthinking, it's because what we like allowed our minds to like consume as well is going to add on to like what we're already feeling like to our anxieties, you know? And so it's important to watch the foods that we're eating that can increase that. So if you know that you have anxiety, maybe you shouldn't be consuming energy drinks and caffeinated drinks like that. You know that your body, energy drinks aren't even healthy for you anyway. So you should find a natural solution that will help you with that. I'll say that raw honey helps with my anxiety when I feel myself getting there, or I'm uncomfortable, you know, or something. I'm putting somewhere that triggers me, you know. Raw honey helps me as well. So I would substitute, you know, sugar, all these artificial sugars for honey in my tea. And teas also have properties to help you with that. I don't know why Allah having me say that, talking about that, but we all should like research certain teas that would help us with certain things that we're dealing with.
Absolutely.
And then you mentioned my support system and how important that is to have one. How can I put it like this? A lot of us, we might have grown up in toxic households or environments that we might not feel heard or supported or validated and things of that nature. And so I feel like, you know, and even starting like in-house, you know, we may overlook a brother or sister that's a little bit more quiet, like, you know, pay her no mind. But the beauty, let me tell you the beauty about Allah's creation, His majesty. We don't see them or the insects for what they truly are when we're observing them from a distance. But if you get a magnifying glass, you can see the beautiful intricacies, the peculiarities within that insect of the monarch butterfly. You can really see the pattern that Allah made things to be. And that's how we are. If we don't get to know somebody, talk to them, and we just see them, we're like, we don't really see them for who they are because we're not up close and personal. We're passing these judgments. And so having that support system that will hold you accountable as well. So you have to observe your current state. Are these people, are they adding value to me? Am I adding value to them? What are conversations about? You need to have a community that honor your interests and that honor you. So what is going on what is the conversations? Okay, if I feel negative after speaking to you.
Oh my God, a drain.
You know, what's the point? What's the point of our conversation? What's the point of you being in my life if this is nothing but negativity? You know? And so having that brother or sister that will hold you accountable and uplift you in that time of darkness, not makes you weaker, but that will empower you, that will add to your strength, that will keep pouring into you. that will make you better, you know, that will help you along your journey and will not judge you because of the current state that you're in. So don't outlook people if you see them that are quiet and shy. Get to know them. You know, you might find that you have common interests with that person because you don't even talk to them.
Right.
You know? Right. And so I think that's just more important. It's about who you surround yourself with and the people that you give ear to as well. So you should also be mindful of who you're even going to your trials about. Ooh. Give Allah a chance first before you just start going into, because you don't know who you could be entertaining. You know, because some people, you know, they listen for things like that. So it's important to just start off with yourself. Go to Allah first, but having those community of people that honor your interests, that honor you.
Praises be to Allah. Oh my God.
Mr. Minister Asia Muhammad.
Listen.
You are my reincarnate.
Listen.
Hey, y'all need to hit that share button.
Right. Because I'm like,
if you haven't shared yet, what you waiting for?
I'm like, what?
What you waiting for? What you waiting for? Hey,
you know, Sister Asia, you know, when you were talking about your support system, and you know, you were born in the Nation of Islam. So I know that your support system is solid, but sometimes it doesn't, it's not even about when your mind is made up. It doesn't matter who your support system is until, again, Allah sounds the alarm for you in order for you to say, you know what? I know I heard y'all talking, but I was not listening because I did not put my Allah's ear on. I've been listening from the ear of negativity or the ear of peer pressure or the ear of people that don't mean me any you know, any good, you know, especially with that reality TV. You hit it on the spot. That reality TV is garbage, and it's getting extremely worse. I mean,
I didn't think it was possible for it to get worse.
No,
it's interesting though, Kalina. It's interesting that is a reality for some people.
No, for real.
It is.
It's
a reality for some people.
We see that and we make it a reality for us.
Right. Yeah, and it's sad and it's so funny because, you know, one of my favorite artists, Lyfe Jennings, one of his quotes in his song, you know, he says that, you know, you're comfortable at the bottom and you want to stay there. You know, and a lot of people are very comfortable at the bottom because, you know, when you have to, you know, increase yourself in value, increase yourself in regards to knowledge, increase yourself in regards to wisdom, understanding, teachings, learning, being a student, then that gap represents responsibility. And our people nowadays, they just want this microwave reality that does not exist. But when you look at these, you know, reality TV shows, they make people believe that they can be that. They make people believe that we have found, you know, this, you know, oh, we could just go to Atlanta to be like these people, you know, on Atlanta Housewives, or we can go to Miami to be a part of Love and Hip Hop Miami or LA or wherever you know.
Love and hip hop everywhere,
you know, and they make these illusions that people will think that this is because it's reality. They fall a victim to the reality of people that is not really their reality.
No, we viewing it and we make it our reality.
Right, exactly.
Because to be in, we have to behave just like that.
Praise.
Right.
All praise to Allah. Well, I want to ask the next question here, Asia.
Sir.
I feel like you've already answered, but let's give it. You might have something to add to it. You know, we say every week that our Severn Region Coalition, our focus has always been to help save lives. What life-saving words would you share with someone struggling with depression or considering suicide?
You know, I've struggled a lot with suffering in silence. And so a lot of us were suffering in silence because going back to that support system, we feel like we don't have anybody that loves us, that cares about us. And sometimes we're afraid of being vulnerable, that the judgment will come, like, oh, like, and a lot of us have experienced that, you know, once we're going to people that we may look up to or that, you know, that may try to help us, you're getting an opposite reaction that you might. So it is difficult. It's something that we don't take into account. You know, it's like when you're going for help and you don't get the help that you need, and it kind of just makes that person feel even worse, especially if they haven't made Allah their friend yet. They feel like, okay, well, I don't have anybody to turn to, so this is it. Cutting the lights off, you know? And so I'll say it like this, you know, a lot of us, when we're going through things, you know, we don't expose ourselves to nature either, you know, and that's why I talked about it's important to go outside, because when you're going to the beach, especially when you're by the water, you put your feet in the water, because water can be used as a conduit for energy source information, you know? And so it's like, when we just like allow ourselves to just be in tune with the ocean, and the ocean is sprinkling us with the kisses and all that of the water, you know? And it's like, it's okay to embrace who you are if you're different, you know? You don't have to be like everybody else.
Right.
The problem is, it's like, okay, I think they're going to be afraid of me because I'm this way. Or some people, they may like anime or stuff like that. People may find it weird. Okay, embrace that.
Yes, come on.
What everybody thinks.
Right.
Okay, like you don't have to be like everybody else. Okay, you like to play, great. Use your gifts with that, because I think a lot of us, when we're in that darkest moment, we feel like we don't have no value. We can't add on to anything that's already going on. We don't feel like we can pull our own chair up to the table. We feel like if we silence ourselves, if we're shrinking ourselves, you know, to please others, and that's comfortable. My mother would tell me this, and I love my mother dearly. She's like the apple of my eye. You know, she's the most beautiful MGT to me. She was like, you should not allow anyone to clip your wings. And she would say that too. I'm not allowing anyone to clip my wings, and you should fly.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And so whenever I see butterflies, it reminds me of my mother, because she loves butterflies. And so a lot of people, they don't have an ear to go to. You know, they don't have anyone to speak about. But I do encourage the first thing, you know, maybe just start writing, start journaling. Even if it doesn't quite make sense, start somewhere. You know, like, try something that you've never quite done before, because I know what that feels like. I don't have anybody to turn to. Like, how are my parents going to feel if I'm feeling this way? And, you know, there were some moments, because I struggled when I was 11 years old. And when you're 11 years old, and that was my first suicide attempt, obviously some reactions are going to be negative, because you didn't think that your child was going to go through these things, but you have to listen to your children. And I feel like a lot of us, we treat children like they're oppressed beings, you know? And I'm like, if you open up your mind and you're optimistic, you can learn from a child.
That's right.
Talk through that child. If you listen to them and stop shutting them down, if they're repetitively, maybe you should listen. They might be trying to give you some guidance or something. My youngest brother, when he was 5 years old, used to quote stuff from movies when I needed it. Oh, Asia, you need to look beyond what you see. The Lion King. I was like, at that moment, he would constantly do that, come up to me randomly and just start quoting stuff. And I'm like, okay, I will look beyond my current circumstances. Let me see how I could, go further out. So I think, I'm not a parent, but we, like parents, when I had conversations with my own parents and other parents, you need to just listen to your children more. Even they may have phases where they're moody teenagers, because I was a moody teenager too. I didn't quite understand things that was happening with me and transforming me and coming to like my young adulthood. You're going to have different things and hormones happening with you. Same thing with young boys. And just like give the time to understand them. Don't just shut them down or berate them and judge them and yell at them all the time. Understand, why are they feeling this way? You know what I'm saying? So that's something that just start listening to your children more. So that, because a lot of us, we deal with a childhood trauma we haven't
Right.
So we grow into these adults, and then we have psychopaths out here, murderers,
Psychopaths,
because they haven't dealt with their traumatic issues.
Yeah.
That's what caused that. So even if you keep going down into the dark place and you're depressed, so a lot of us, we may not become suicidal, but homicidal. We always
okay. So I'm gonna stop you there.
Good teaching.
No. I'm gonna stop you there,
is.
because it's a difference, right? Can you explain the difference between suicidal versus homicidal? Yes.
Absolutely. So it's like, if you don't want, like, suicidal is like, okay, I don't even want to come and like be here anymore at all, And then it's like homicidal, because I had a phase where I used to fight a lot. And so that's what it was like. Okay, either I'm gonna take it out on somebody else. I'm going through this, and I'm gonna project this onto you. So that's why you may have these adults that are really angry, and they just want to, like. I remember I had a conversation with somebody who's like, "No, I'm not suicidal. I'm homicidal." I was like, "Explain that to me." Like, right. No, I still want to be here, but I just want to fight everybody. I want to take it out on everybody that I see. And it's like any little trigger that reminds them of something, they're going to take it out on you. If you step on my shoe or something. Oh, I'm going to get my knife and just start, or people, they pull out their guns and stuff like that.
Yep.
See? And so it's like when a person reaches that point of, like, I want to say insanity, like a homicidal, like if you're just going around, trying to just like kill people and everything like that. Right. But it's like really, it's hurting there, and they don't allow any type of light, like in their hearts at all, And it's like they feel like the doorway is closed. There's no hope for me, and so I'm gonna be this person. I'm gonna go all out and do this, and that, and the third, and so. The problem for me, like when you become so reckless, when you enter a state of mind like that, when you no longer just want to be here, and then it's just like, okay, well, this doesn't work, so I'm gonna just fight everybody that I see, and that's that, So it's like it can go. I don't want to say hand in hand, because there's been like a homicidal, suicidal situation. I'm gonna bring up a personal situation that happened recently, and it was all over the news. But I also do dancing, but one of my instructors, she was murdered from her boyfriend, but then he also took his life. And it was all over the news. So it can go hand in hand, and it's just like, okay, I want to keep fighting, but after that, I'm just done. That is something.
No. I just wanted to, and when you said that, it brought me to the reality of the killings in our schools, where right, where
sometimes it's not even killing. It's like any little trigger leads to a fight.
I mean, but
we
but
talked
I'm
about
talking about a higher scale, though, Brother Tony, because these fights, right, can lead to somebody coming back to the school.
And
because again, I am homicidal,
right?
And don't matter who you target,
who you are exactly.
It don't matter. I mean, your mind goes into a whole different, dimension. You're not even here,
right?
And because you know, at this point, I already know what my intentions are. My intentions is to be homicidal and then be suicidal, because I'm not going to pay no consequences after I do what I do.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. I don't want to pay for it. I don't want to go to jail, so I'm going to take my life. You know, so when people do a lot of destructive behaviors like that, especially when it comes to homicide and mass shootings and all this extra things, then they lead to suicide because they reach that point. Everybody, you know, everybody got to go because I'm triggered, and it could be something so small, but they reach their breaking.
Right.
That's like the same thing with a suicidal person. It doesn't matter. Oh, you just triggered me. You don't even know the state of mind that I was in for months, for weeks. You just said something. That's why kindness is so important. That's also in our restrictive laws. You know, be kind and that's the phrase right there. We don't even apply that to ourselves and to the people that's in like our local mosques. Like, how are you treating the people in your local mosque? Are you being kind to them? You know, how are you treating the people out here? You know, if Allah came to save us, how would he feel if we're mistreating the people that he loves? We should not be mistreating God's people.
Right.
Be kind to yourself as well. If you're not experiencing that kindness, then of course you're going to become homicidal and suicidal as well.
Yeah.
And so it was like, yeah, so if I wasn't suicidal at the time, I just would want to fight. You know, that's just what it was. Over any little thing, fighting. Like, like, I had anger issues as a teenager, and it was just like, I just needed to let it out, but I wasn't channeling it in the proper way.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I said it's important, even when you have martial arts, because people, they can misuse that. They can misuse those tools that can help you. Just because you know these things, that don't mean you go around and start fighting people.
Right.
You have to, that mind to be in unison.
Yeah.
Because you can be great, like gifted in that area, but still be out of your mind. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for that. And I want to it's in my spirit a lot is like, okay, she said something really key that I think everybody might not have caught. And so the point is, when you go to the beach and put your feet in the water, right? And so the part that I want to build upon on that with you is helping us to realize that the essence of that essence of Allah that is in us, that electrical current, that spark. And I hope, and I am envisioning this will inspire all of us to drink more water.
Yes, I need some now.
Okay, that spark that is within us, it is the water that is the current, is the flow that takes that current, that electrical current, to all the organs in the body. So when we don't drink enough water, we become dehydrated, and that you start to fizz out, you know, start to fizz out.
My eyes start fizzing out.
So, you know, so it's really, thank you so much for using that particular example relative to nature, because that is something that there's an abundance of. You can, if you don't want to buy the water at the, the treated water, go to the spring. Go to the spring and get water, and so thank you so much for saying that, because that is I'm encouraged that would be a new relationship and a new thought process we can have now, and with water, and understanding and knowing that, yes, it is that elixir of life that is taking that charge through every cell, every muscle, every tissue, every fiber of our being.
That's right.
Thank you, Sister Asia.
Yes, ma'am.
So with that being said, what are some of your greatest achievements so far in your life? So far, what are some of your greatest achievements?
So believe it or not, out of all the medals that I've accomplished and wonderful things that Allah's blessed me with, is finally finding joy.
Yay!
That is my greatest
Praise be to Allah.
to finally feel that I actually want to live. I want to. I see my purpose. I see. I can see now. My skills, the skills have been removed. I can see now. That is my greatest achievement because as a child, I've always loved being happy or just swinging on the swings at the park and just doing all those things. And it was like I kept shrinking into a box. And I was not happy because I had, like you said, the peer pressure, you know, being what someone else wants me to be. And I was just not that. Like, I'm just not that person. And I want to be my most authentic self. You know, even if it doesn't make sense to you at that time, and try to understand your children. Try to understand the person that you're around. And so that has been my greatest achievement because I got that aha moment. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I got it. You know, like, I'm at peace. And when you find that, it's like you can acknowledge Allah. And like I would say, even when I'm doing something, I always ask Allah first. Like even if someone asks me a question and it's so profound or a business endeavor, and I'm like, hold on, let me get back to you on that. You know,
Right.
accept things right away or invitations. I always consult Allah first.
Yes.
You know, every good opportunity is a great opportunity.
Right.
You know? And so that I just constantly like found like happiness, you know, and it's like, but that doesn't mean the trials stop just because, you know, you find them. Allah will try you again, you know, once or twice a year. And how are you going to handle that? How are you managing those stressors that you come across? You know, so find like these disruptors to disrupt your thinking. If you feel like you're going down south, what do you do when that happens? When you feel yourself, you know, grief happens. We all experience grief. You know, I was trying to grieve majority of this year, and it was like I'm proud of myself because I had a different outcome than I was before. I didn't go into my dark places. You know, I said, okay, Allah, you're allowing this, you know, show me something because we're all still students and we are allowed our future, you know, we can learn instead of just cursing at him, oh, why are you doing this to me? Why me? Because, and you know, our pain, our trials are blessings, even though we don't understand like why.
That's right.
Yes, they are.
Why was it in this manner? You know, you can use it to tell your story, to inspire somebody else.
Yes.
And study guide 1, you know, the minister, you know, was saying how you should be careful how you judge something that's on the move because you cannot adequately judge something because they're still writing their testament.
Yes.
So be careful what you say because you might have to retract your words.
Right.
If you see something in motion, you'll understand like their process, what Allah has for them at the end. You see them as a butterfly. But it's so rare where we see somebody stay with them in their caterpillar stage, their different phases of metamorphosis.
Come on.
You know? And so there's different cycles to this, to a butterfly. And I think that is so beautiful. And it's like you have to be patient with yourself and with others. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It was me finally seeing that, like, you know, I am Allah's little princess. No matter, like, he still receives me with open arms, even though I made mistakes and I'm not perfect. And I try to do this and that and harm myself and harm others. Taking that accountability and acknowledgement. Allah will hug you and embrace you and then show you purpose. You embrace him as your friend.
Yes.
And make him your best friend, your top He will never change on you. You don't got to worry about, oh, they're switching up on me. Okay, make him your friend, your creator.
Right.
Because then he'll bring you your tribe without you even trying to look for love in the wrong places. And
come on.
He gonna bring you your tribe once you step into your purpose.
Yes.
So,
God Almighty.
Listen, look. Sister Asia, you are playing on Sister Felicia's heartstrings. You have no idea.
Girl. This ain't nobody but Allah. It ain't nobody but Allah. I already know. Girl. I am so grateful and thankful. I tell you, boy.
Listen.
Mm.
Well, Asia, in our next segment of the show, we have what we call the knowledge corner. And this is where I'm going to now blow your mind, because you have been blowing our mind for the entire evening, including Sister Felicia's, as you can bear witness, because she can barely,
contain myself.
Right.
If I was in the church, I'd be running up and shouting and jumping over the pews.
Listen, she can't even get out there. I can't wait till this show over, because you're gonna be like, it's a whole different Felicia. But but the reason why I know that this show is divine, it is purposeful, it is meaningful, and it is needed, is because I was on the same frequency that you were on. And I, again, studied what you advised us to study earlier in the show, and that blessed are those who find their purpose in life and are found doing it. And I wanted to highlight this because I know that you mentioned to definitely go and research it for yourself. This actually was from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. He was actually in Atlanta, Muhammad number 15.
Yep.
This was in October the 12th, 2007.
Yeah.
And I wanted this to highlight some things that he's mentioned in that lecture series. Well, that lecture in regards to blessed are those who find their purpose in life and are found doing it. He said, what your purpose is to say, I know why I'm here. But when you don't know nothing about it, you become an enemy to yourself. He said, you get a new apartment, a new house, and you're only happy for a moment because something that you have is there fulfilling, because nothing's there that is fulfilling your purpose. Nothing that you equate that can find joy that only working to be what Allah created you to be, and to give you. And again, I'm just paraphrasing. He also mentioned, Jesus said, if any man would be excuse me, I'm all over the place. But he said, if any man will be my disciple, you must first deny yourself. And this is what you were just discussing. You denied yourself. Pick up your cross and follow me. And you are following Allah at this moment. Mm-hmm. But he also raised a question at the end. He said, the question is, what are you willing to give up that you love, that is not good for you, to find the greatest of Allah and your purpose? And I think that, we are oftentimes not wanting to give up something because we think that is something that God gave us. And we are so far from it, because most of the things that we are holding on to is killing us.
Right.
It's making us weak, and it is poisoning the being of what God wants us to really possess. I know that, I always think about Wendy Houston. Wendy Houston purpose was a singer. You can tell that her purpose was to sing. But what happened in that sparrow was because when you take God's purpose and do not use it to fulfill his purpose and other people's purpose, then you go with this spiral of life. And so with that being said, identifying what your purpose is, divine purpose, because you can have a purpose and it don't necessarily have to be divine. It could be, hey, I like this, I'm good at this, I'm good at that. But is it God's purpose? He also mentioned about, him, the messenger told him, that he had 30 days to get rid of, to leave music, to leave show business.
Right.
That's something that our minister loved. And as you can see, the beauty of when he plays his violin and how people just cry, in regards to the instrument. He knew that in order for him to be one with Allah, he had to sacrifice something that he loved. And I applaud you. I give you a standing ovation because you found purpose. Some people haven't even found their purpose yet, and is 150 years old. This is Asia. I'm just being honest. And still talk about why me, it's y'all, it's not me, and they don't even want to tap in. They really don't even want to tap in, but you have tapped in. You have fulfilled your purpose, and and because you're so young and you're so beautiful, you are continuing your journey in regards to finding your purpose. So
fulfilling, the purpose.
Yeah.
Yep.
I thank you for coming on our show.
Yep.
For having me.
Yes, Sister Asia, beautiful.
Sister Asia, do you have any? Oh! And then also, I have a self-care quote. Okay, and the self-care quote is: dance like nobody is watching, sing like nobody is listening, and live each day like it's your last.
Wait, rewind. Can you say that one more time?
Absolutely.
Please.
It says, dance like nobody is watching, sing like nobody is listening, and live each day like it's your last. And that is our self-care quote of the day. All right, back to you, Brother Tony. What we need to do?
We need to support. We need to support. If you have benefited from this program here tonight, it don't have to be, $100,000. If you have it and you like to give it, we're not going to deny it.
We need it.
But even if it's a couple of dollars, dear family, you can put 5 on it. You can put 10, 20, anything that Allah has blessed you with and has put on your heart to give. We are eternally grateful, like the aliens on Toy Story. We're eternally grateful for whatever you are able to donate. We have some streaming bills coming up.
Right.
And we absolutely need your help. We need your support to continue these broadcasts. What we're doing is a labor of love. Really, we want to spread that love. If you can spread your love, hey, we're going to continue giving because the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is the gift that keeps on giving.
That's right.
And he is really, out of his work, this podcast has developed through our student regional minister, Student Minister Patrick Muhammad, geared towards saving lives. So please donate whatever you can, and may Allah continue to bless you and your families. And thank you for joining us here tonight. May Allah bless you.
Thank you. And Sister Asia, do you have any last words before we close out?
Please.
I want to say, be authentically you. And I'm so glad that Brother Tony, he brought up the Toy Story quote because we were talking about like our inner child and doing things like we used to do as children, you know, stopped in our adulthood. So I encourage everyone to find something that you used to do, find a new hobby or skill set. You know, you'll find that you enjoy doing it and it will help your inner child heal. You know, so go out to your farmer's market or something, go for a walk, try something new, you know, and that's something that, you know, I encourage. Just be yourself, embrace yourself so Allah can work through you. You know, He'll give you the things that you need and that you're ready for. Once you step into your true self and into your purpose and just let Allah be, you know, and stop trying to control everything. Stop trying to control the outcome. And it is, you know? So that's all I have to say.
Sister Asia, you just brought up such a good point. See, like I watch cartoons and I watch cartoon movies with my children. I just sit down with them and I talk to them about what they learned, and you know, like I mean, their reality, I make it my reality, and we have to do more of that when it comes down to our children. Put it, dear sister. Listen to your children.
That's right.
It is critically important. And I'm also going to say this, Sister Asia, in our I don't have our national constitution in front of us, but in our national constitution, it says that a nation rises no higher than its woman, and that our sisters should be taking this as high and as far as they could take it. I'm paraphrasing. I'm getting some of the language a little off, but our sisters should go as far as they could possibly go. We as the men, we as your brothers, we should be as supportive as we possibly can in your endeavors. As
Listen, and she's already
of our own.
And look, Brother Tony, the sky ain't the limit for her. She's already been in the sky.
No,
look,
she's gonna go farther.
The sky is just the beginning. She already been there, done that, baby. Already done took a picture.
She's gonna be extracting the language on Mars. What you talking about?
Listen, look, like she said, Google, baby. She already been there. So yeah. So it's just the beginning for her. May Allah continue to bless you.
Yes, ma'am.
With the light of understanding in all of your endeavors. Hey, if you need us, we look, we your big sisters, big brothers. You know,
they are here.
We're just a phone call away.
Right.
Thank you so much. You know, to have you all as my additional support system.
That's right. That's right. Let's talk about
it. Sister Asia, this is your platform. You can come on whenever you like.
Oh wow! I'm praising due to Allah.
Now what? She's gonna be co-hosting next week.
Listen.
She's getting all excited. Like, what did I just volunteer myself to?
Right. We need some young energy. Let us know. The floor is yours. All right. And Brother Mark, if you can end where you began.
Wonderful show. I want to say it is a blessing to have this show at the age of my pet. We are not gang, but we are the Region Coalition.